Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of My Fiber Fun. Y'all, I did the whole big field trip video to the farmer's market, and me with my blind as a bat behind I couldn't see the phone, so I'm going by feel or where I know the buttons are. I was pausing when I should have been recording and recording when I should have been paused. So it's nothing but a blank screen, but there's this one conversation in there, and I thought I was paused, and then she let me do an interview with her because she's a fiber lady, and she let me do an interview with her, but of course, it didn't get recorded because I had hit pause when I did this big interview. But our conversation was about 10 minutes long, and I think you'll enjoy it. So you're going to see a black screen, and you'll hear us talking back and forth about fiber and what she does and all this stuff. But actually, there's a new vendor there, and she's a farmer, but she also owns sheep. And so she spins her own yarn, and she has a little area there at her farm booth off to the side where she sells her sheep wool yarn, and it's fairly inexpensive. And so I will be getting some later. I didn't pick any up today. And plus she was fairly busy and I didn't feel like waiting any longer. Plus my legs had started hurting and I was talking to the lady. So what I'm gonna do is erase out all the stuff from before, because I was there like 30 minutes before I even got to the yarn people. And I'm calling out my phone number and everything else. So I'm going to get that out. I don't know how to edit, but I do know how to scrunch the video. So I'll shorten the video like I did for that fishing video, and it'll pick up. You'll see the introduction to the farm market. That's the only part that you're actually going to see, what the farm market looks like on the outside and the sign and all that. And then once the screen goes black, then I'm going to erase all that preliminary stuff and pick it up where I began with the yarn lady. And then even after that, I dropped off my Gingher scissors when I first got there. And so after I talked with the yarn lady, I was getting ready to leave, so I stopped to pick up the Gingher scissors. And so you'll hear how satisfied I was with that, although you won't see anything, but you'll hear it. And so here are the Gingher scissors. He sharpened them up really nice. They cut really good. He let me test them while I was there, and then he had tested them too. And so he cut some paper. I was like, the real test is going to be cutting the yarn. But he let me test it on a paper bag, and they cut like butter, okay? And so when I got home, the first thing I did was grabbed up, and what did I do with the yarn? It was some of that thick yarn that I made that bag with. I think I threw it away. Wait, let me check my little side. Yep, nope, I didn't. I don't know what I did with that yarn. But I do have a napkin here. So I'll demonstrate. Okay, this is clean, y'all. One, two, okay, it's 2 napkins, but as you can see, fairly thick. And we'll take the Gingher scissors, and y'all, I don't know if I just demonstrated how dull they were at first, but here we go. Look at that, y'all. Butter. Beautiful, beautiful. So they are back up to par. And he only charged $5. He only charged me $5 to do these. And not only did he sharpen them, he also, now he didn't do the inside. You see where they're rusty on the inside from when they had sat in the rain or whatever. But he cleaned the outside. He polished them up, cleaned them, and then he also oiled them really well, as you can see, because these were stiff. These were fairly stiff. Look at how they are now. I mean, they're tip top. So I won't use them for embroidery, but for other things, I do use these. And I will not use them anymore for gardening. I actually bought a pair of scissors for gardening. But when I didn't have a pair, I took these out, and that's how they got messed up. And I said, I'll never do that again with Ginger scissors. So they're back. So this and these, as well as all my other Ginger scissors, are back in action. So let me put these here off to the side. Okay, y'all, I had to frog my scarf, and let me tell you why. I was doing the half double crochet herringbone stitch. And when I saw the tutorial on it, the lady had mentioned if you don't get to the stitch right on the very end, it will begin to cave in on you. So it started out straight, and then it caved in on both sides. So it was going into like a triangle. Y'all know, when you're supposed to do a rectangle or a scarf and you miss a stitch or whatever. Well, it did that with me. But I looked and I did not miss a stitch. What it was, my tension. And I'm like, I'm not getting ready to fight with this, and I'm not taking this down to get it right, because this will be too much, because it'll happen again. You want to be able to crochet smoothly, without effort. And I was like, let me take this down right now. So I ended up switching over to this other stitch that I really like, and it's actually called the grit stitch. And what it is you started off with your chain, an odd number of chains. Okay, and then what you do is you do one single crochet in the first chain, you skip a chain, and then you do 2 single crochets in the next one, and all the way across you're going to skip 1 chain and then do 2 single crochets in the next. So skip, 2 single crochets, skip, 2 single crochets, and when you come to the end of the row, then you're going to do your 2 single crochets, and then in that very next stitch, because you'll have 1 stitch left over, you will just do 1 single crochet again. So both your ends will have 1 single crochet. That way it will stay straight and you don't have a problem unless you mess up. And believe me, I did it with this. I messed up, but it was like only 5 rows back. But this works up so fast, and it's with no effort. So this is what the grit stitch looks like. And I like it. It looks like the single crochet, but it has a different look to it because you're putting 2 in 1 and then you're skipping the next. So it's really, really nice. And this is staying straight. Actually, it's a little wider at the bottom, but it has a lot to do with tension, but this is easy. It looks a lot better than that herringbone looked. And I really like this. So I'm working on this. And I haven't worked on it because I'm also working on the blanket. And I ended up frogging it too. Instead of doing it in the size F, that tight stitch, I said, let me go on and work this in the larger crochet hook so that it will, because it fluffs out. This Nora yarn fluffs out. And so I went to a size J with it. And though the yarn is thin, it does fluff out. And since I'm going to add the backing to it, it's going to be warm. So here it is. So this is how far I've gotten on this. So I'm getting ready to switch back over to the scarf and get that finished. Now, since you guys missed the whole farmer's market, since you all missed the whole farmer's market video, and boy, I tell you, the stuff I was filming, I was just showing you the different things that they have. First of all, I went because my B-man, I thought that he was going to be there today, is next week. So I will be going back, and I bet you the next time I'm going to have on my magoos, okay, so that I can at least see what I'm doing. So we'll revisit this trip, and it will probably be next week because I want to get my honey stash taken care of for the preps and for the year. I buy a little pint, and that usually lasts me a year. So I want to get that done. Had I known he wasn't going to be there, I would have held off on this trip until next week. And I think I asked the lady about the pawpaws. She said they're either going to be in next week or the week after that. So I might be taking yet another trip. What I did purchase today, I purchased some zucchini because when I harvested one the other day, I made some zucchini fries and I loved them. So I bought 2 zucchinis. He only wanted, his zucchinis were 2 for $1. So I bought 2 zucchinis from this one guy, and then I bought some squash blossoms from him too. He had those real cheap. And then the first guy I stopped at, he had my beloved sweet banana pepper. This is my favorite pepper. I love these and the Italian ales, sweet peppers. So last year I took my Italian peppers, which are like those big wide frying peppers. I took and cut those and I dehydrated them, and then I put them in the food processor. I was going to make pepper flakes, but I actually ended up making a pepper powder, which I love. So I'm getting near the end of that. I made a pint of it last year. So when my favorite store, Pelly's, they're going to be selling their produce, she told me next week. Not this, the next week. They're going to start like next weekend. So I'll go to them mid-month and I will get all the Italian peppers that I will need, and they're real cheap. And I'm going to get some more banana peppers too. But I got these because he only wanted $4 for 8 of them, so 50 cents a piece. So I bought 8, and this is what I brought home. So I'm getting ready to cut these up in a few minutes. As you can see, my mother's old knife, and this is dull too, so I need to take this to the sharpener. But anyway, I'm gonna cut these up, get the seeds out, and I will be dehydrating these today because I also want to make me either a pint or a half pint of sweet banana pepper powder. So, or either I might go with the flakes with the banana pepper because they have such a, strong, unique taste. But I will be making, I'm gonna try to get a quart of the Italian pepper powder this year. So we'll see. I'm going to go as far as I can, and I will be buying the peppers. Now, I have peppers that I'm growing, but mine do not get as big as the farmer's peppers. So I will make a pepper powder with my peppers too once my flush comes in, and I have a lot of them coming. So I'll just add that. But I like the banana separate and apart, and I like the Italian ale separate and apart. And then mine will be the mixed. And then if I see some other sweet peppers, varieties that I like, I might buy 1 or 2 peppers here and there, and add that to mine that I've grown. So, and then I bought 2 zucchinis. And what else did I get? The squash flowers. I think I told y'all about that. And then the scissor sharpening. So I spent less than $20 at the farmer's market today, which is good. So that's all I did. Then I went to my favorite restaurant in Detroit and got some ribs because I do not feel like cooking on tomorrow. So I bought some ribs, and then I'll I think I'm going to cut my Swiss chard today and smother my my Swiss chard. And also I have some squash. I have a yellow squash in there that I bought like a week ago that I need to cook. And then I might take half of one of those zucchinis and mix that in with the yellow squash. And then that'll be my vegetable, and that'll be it for dinner on tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to get off of here. I didn't mean to come on camera, but because of what happened at the farmer's market, I have to at least explain it. So yes, you're going to see a black screen, but you will hear a neat conversation between me and another fiber artist there. Okay. So look forward to that video. It's coming up next. I will talk to you later. I'll be back on tomorrow to continue Mr. Andrew. Wait. We're at how many minutes here? We're at 14 minutes. Here we go again. Story time. Because, see, I don't want to have to do all the preliminaries tomorrow. I want to come on and just go straight into the story. So let's get the preliminaries out the way. Number 1, I did go to my cousin's memorial on yesterday, and it was very nice. It was from 5 to 7. So my sister, I rode with her, and it was very nice. So at least I was able to go to that, and I was able to see a lot of my cousins who came in from out of town, as well as my local cousins and everybody. So that was nice. Okay. The Walker. Oh, believe me, the drama continues. Okay, let me tell you what happened. Okay, I told y'all about where we left off was where it turns out that Rashida or Renita, or whatever her name is, was faxing the prescription to my number. So that following day, I called them first thing in the morning and I asked them if they had received, the fax, because I explained what had happened. And they were like, no, can't find it. I'm like, okay. So they said, call her again. We haven't received it. So I called her again. She was like, I know I sent it. And she called back the number. And so I said, I believe you. I said, is for some reason they're not getting it. Something is happening here and we got to get this figured out. So she was like, I'll try it again today. She's like, and let me know if it doesn't go through. I said, okay. So anyway, by the time she did that again, the place was closed. So I called them. Oh, maybe that's where I left off. Anyway, I called first thing yesterday morning. And so Mark answered, and I had spoken with him before, the first time I spoke with the lady. And so I told Mark, I was like, I know she sent it. And so he could not find it. He was like, it's not here. He's like, I'm looking in I was like, I know she's doing, I said, she called out the right number. I said, unless she's like me and can't see. I said, but yeah, she's sending it. He said, you know what? He was like, let's stop the madness. I was like, thank you. I was like, because I was going to suggest we call on a three-way. He was like, that's what I was going to suggest. So we called on a three-way. Well, of course, it's 12 o'clock. So that meant that my doctor and his staff were out to lunch. So anyway, he said, he said, you can either call me back at 1 o'clock and we can talk. He's like, or either I'll call them. He said, give me their number. I was like, you can call them. I said, I'm too through. I was like, I trust you on it. So he said, okay, I'll call. He said, and as soon as I talk to them, I will call you back. I was like, okay, thank you. So sure enough, about 2 o'clock, he called back. And he said, well, I just called the doctor's office. He said, and they're gone for the day. I said, I forgot. On Friday, they leave a little bit earlier. And so he's going to call first thing Monday, and then he's going to call me back again. And so he said, we're ready to go, because once I set up my account with them, which was a few days before, they were able to run my insurance, and they saw that I'm covered 100%. So he's like, we're ready to go. He's like, as soon as we get the prescription with the chart notes and everything. And then Rashida told me she also included like my hospitalization notes and all that. And so he said, as soon as we receive that, he was like, you'll have your walker in a couple of days. He said, all we'll need to do is just set up since everything is already done. He said, through your insurance, we already know. He said, we just have to get the prescription with the code. And then he said, we know you're covered. He's like, we'll shoot that. So, for our records and your insurance records, he's like, and we'll release the walker because we know that you're covered based on your insurance information that you gave us. Because I gave him the group number, my policy number, whatever's on the card. I gave them all that information. So they were able to run it through. So just like that one lady did at the company that manufactures the U-Step. So we're ready. So hopefully Monday we can get scheduled when he calls me back. Hopefully we can get scheduled for delivery of the U-Step walker. So my fingers are crossed. I just hope another thing he said too. He said it could be our fax number messing up. He's like, she may be putting it through, but it may not be coming through. He said, we've had trouble before. He said, so we have a secondary backup fax number. He said, when I called and left the message, because he did leave a message, he said, I left that backup fax number with them. So I'm quite sure when Renita or whatever her name is hears that, she's probably going to shoot it straight over with that number, with that secondary number. He said, now, he's like, if I don't hear back or don't receive a fax on Monday, he's like, I will be calling them first thing. He said, and then I can get the information over. He's like, we will get it figured out. Don't worry. He said, but you're out of it now. He said, when you hear from me, we'll be ready to roll. I was like, thank you. I said, because it's been stressful. I said, I should have had this walker probably a month ago. I should have had it. I said, but at least 2 weeks ago, I've been dealing with y'all for 2 weeks now, or just about 2 weeks. Wednesday will be 2 weeks. So anyway, that's it. So anyway, let me put on my gloves because I don't want pepper hands or pepper fingers. And so I'm going to get these peppers cut and get them to dehydrating. They can do that for the rest of the day. And then I'm going to take a nap because I can feel the sleepiness coming on. I just ate lunch. I had a salad. And then from my barbecue joint, I did eat a rib. And so now I'm getting a little bit sleepy. It's been about an hour, actually, since I ate lunch. But I'm feeling sleepy now. Okay, but before I go to sleep, I'm going to get these peppers cut and get them in the dehydrator so they can be working while I'm sleeping. Okay, so got one on. Okay, so I'm going to get off of here, and I will talk to you guys on tomorrow with Andrew's story, and may God bless you all. Upcoming will be the farmer's market video, and I will probably upload this after my nap. So it is currently like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You might not see this till about 6 or 7. I don't know, but once I wake up. Okay, talk to you guys later, and may God bless you all. Bye-bye.